from nature. A parable? What is it? Well, it's a little story with a lot of truth in it. An earthly story with a heavenly meaning. Jesus told many parables to grown-ups and children alike. He told them simply and sincerely in words everyone could understand, so that all might learn the lesson he was trying to teach. The fairy ring. In this story, we see that magic land where the fairies live is very much like a field of wheat that Jesus told about. Watch and see how Puck, one of the fairies, is so anxious to get rid of the bad things in life that he is apt to hurt the good ones too. He's just like the servants in Jesus' parable. But wait, let's see what happens. Far away in the forest live the people of Magic Land. They are fairy folk who live with their queen, Titania. There on the left you can see young Puck, who is one of her subjects, loyal and adventurous. Like many little boys, Puck loves to eat whatever is around. In the fall, he finds some tasty nuts and juicy berries in the spring. Most of the time, he feasts on the delicious mushrooms that grow in the forest of Magic Land. One day, as he wandered along under these plants that stood over him like giant umbrellas, he suddenly was very hungry. He saw a lovely-looking red mushroom. It was so beautiful. Oh, how wonderful it would taste. One bite. That's all he ever took. And then how sick he felt. He fell down with a moan and a groan. And turned as green as the grass beneath him. He thought he would surely die.
Help!
He tried to call for help, but his voice was so small and so weak that no one heard him at all. Luckily for Puck, who should be passing by just then but Queen Titania. When she saw him lying there, she flew down to an old tree stump and waved her wand over him. Her magic made Puck well at once. Puck said,
Titania, if you hadn't come, I surely would be dead. These mushrooms aren't all as good as they look, I'll tell you. The one I just ate was terrible. It's time we passed a law to get rid of these deadly things. Someone else may come along and be fooled by their beauty and then be poisoned like I was. Your Royal Majesty, I demand that you call a meeting at the fairy ring.
And so Titania called the fairies, who quickly came from far and near. They always met in the fairy ring, a circle of mushroom chairs in the very center of Magic Land. Titania told the fairies about Puck's adventure and then let him speak to them.
May I have your attention, please? I think we should cut down these poisonous mushrooms. They're a danger to our land, and we must be rid of them. Take out your swords and follow me!
One moment, Puck, before you start. Just how are you to know which ones would make us sick? If you cut down all the mushrooms here in Magic Land, what would happen to our fairy ring?
don't want to cut them all, Queen Titania. Just the bad ones. The mushroom that made me sick was brightly colored on the top. We'll cut those down. Come on, let's chop!
Puck was frozen in his tracks, for once again Titania pointed her magic wand towards him. She didn't want him doing any more harm.
You know it's wrong to cut down every colored one. Good and bad may grow together, and we can't tell by their colors what they're like inside. For us to hurt a good plant would make us sad indeed.
Oh, I suppose you're right, as usual. I suppose that's why you're queen. But life would be much easier if there were a law to kill all bad mushrooms, and I'd have much more fun eating, too.
I'm sure, dear Puck, the fairies here within the magic ring might like to live a life of ease with nothing to do but eat and sleep and dance in the moonlight. But have you ever thought of this? If nothing evil were around to keep us on our guard, we'd surely grow lazy and weak and careless. We really wouldn't be good for much of anything.
The good and bad mushrooms, which grow together, remind us that once Jesus told a parable about a farmer planting wheat. After he plowed the ground, he sowed the seed. Then he waited for it to grow. But one night, when he was fast asleep, in came an enemy. He planted some weeds among the wheat when no one was looking, so that bad plants would grow beside the good ones. As days and weeks went by, and the sun and rain fell on the field, the farmer saw that his wheat was growing. But when he looked closely, he saw that there were weeds in his field as well. His servants asked how this could be. The seed he used was good. Where could the weeds have come from? Should they go and pull them out? Did he think they should? But the farmer said it would not do to pull out the weeds, for the wheat and weeds grew too close together. The servants could see that if they pulled up the weeds, they were sure to pull up some good wheat as well. When harvest time came, the farmer explained they would be able to tell the wheat from the weeds. That would be time enough to cut the weeds and send them to be burned. Then they would harvest the wheat and store it in their barns. Jesus taught us this lesson with the story of the wheat. We can't tell who is good or bad just from the way people look on the outside. It's what's in their hearts that makes them like worthwhile wheat or useless weeds. It is not for us to judge them. God is our judge. He'll choose the good and do away with evil in his own time. This story, which Jesus told about the wheat and the weeds, may be found in the Bible by turning to the 13th chapter of St. Matthew, beginning at the 24th verse. from nature. A parable? What is it? Well, it's a little story with a lot of truth in it. An earthly story with a heavenly meaning. Jesus told many parables to grown-ups and children alike. He told them simply and sincerely in words everyone could understand, so that all might learn the lesson he was trying to teach. Corky the Crow. This story about Corky can't be found in the Bible, but it's very much like the one Jesus told about a man who disobeyed the rules of his land. He went to the king's feast in the wrong clothes and found himself in great trouble. But what has this to do with Corky the Crow? Well, let's watch. Now look at Corky. He's getting ready to peck off that juicy corn, and he's bound to get into trouble as sure as shooting.
Hey, ouch! Oh, Farmer Bill almost got me this time. Sam Scarecrow just stands there and lets him shoot at me. I'm getting out of here. Hey, you know what? That farmer is aiming too close for comfort, which means that I'd better be thinking up a new racket. This snitching corn is strictly for the birds. Now, let me see. There are several things I could do, like, for instance, what would it be? Well, now, isn't this a dandy? What I see is made to order just for me. Funny, I didn't notice before. This is something I should get in on right away. Naturally, I'll have to give it a little thought about the best way to move in on this peaceful little scene. The little lady comes here to the park every day to feed those pigeons. What could be softer than that? They don't flap a wing. All they do is eat. But I'd have to cover up these black feathers so they wouldn't recognize me and I'd look like a pigeon. Say, I know what I'll do.
There you are.
Mr. Pig, as a tailor, you are a genius. This is a perfect fit. It's a little warm to wear all these feathers, but it'll get the job done. Now to test it for flying. Well, I got to the gate all right. I'll wait here just a minute, and then I'll move in on those pigeons when they're busy eating, and they'll never know. Oh, boy, am I hungry, too. What a deal. All this food and no one has noticed a thing yet. Oh, I tell you, this is the best racket I've found yet. Popcorn. Popcorn, as much as I can eat. Hey, the box is empty. That didn't last long. I'll just watch these pigeons to see what to do. Aha, I see what they do. They move up close to say, thank you. That cooing means they want more. I'd better get in on this, too. I wonder if I can make that sound.
Well, everyone was flabbergasted. One of the pigeons said, I distinctly heard a caw-caw, and another said, no pigeon caws. That's Corky, they said. Corky the Crow. Chase him away. Corky's catching it now. Look at those pigeons fly into action. That pigeon suit is going to be a mess.
That was quite a fuss. Quite a fuss. I should have kept quiet. Say, those pigeons have more spunk than I thought. But I don't give up that easy. I was a little unfair, maybe, but that racket's too good. I'll just give this pigeon suit a brushing and try it again. Do you see what I see? She has a whole box full of nuts to give those little pigeons. Oh, what I wouldn't give to crunch one of those tasty little morsels. Hoppity hop, hoppity hop. Those dumb pigeons don't see me at all, and I'll hop over here without any trouble. I'll fool them.
Oh, Corky's met his match. They're going to fix him now. Can't you just hear what they're thinking? A pigeon walks gracefully, a crow hops. Turn yourself around, Corky. Quick, fly! Did you ever see such a fuss in feathers? Corky is really catching it now. There won't be much left of him or that gray suit. Well, the pigeons let him know in a hurry that he was not welcome at their feast. He just didn't belong there. Watch old Corky go. I'll bet he didn't know he could fly so fast. The pigeon suit is still hanging on. Oh, I wonder if Corky really expected to get away with his scheme.
Oh, my. What a chase. For a few minutes there, I thought they were going to catch me. Well, I should have kept my big bill shut. And I should have practiced walking just like those pigeons. Instead, I had to hop. Oh, I'm so tired and sore. I sure hope this doc is in.
Well, when the doctor began to look him over, he said,
Corky, you're a sad-looking crow. You're pretty banged up, but I can fix that. I'm going to tell you the straight truth, too, Corky. You changed your suit, but it didn't change you. The kind of change you need is a change of heart.
Oh, Doc, I guess you're right. The food was wonderful, but I know I didn't belong there. You will have to admit, though, I was doing all right for a while.
poor Corky. He tried. But his being there in the park, even in his pigeon suit, wasn't the right way. Corky was wrong, out of place and unfair. You know, in the Bible, there's a story called a parable that says pretty much the same thing, only it's about people. Once there was a king who prepared a big wedding feast for his son. He called his servants to him and said, "Go forth and invite all the people to my feast." The guests were very happy to be invited and went about preparing themselves and their proper garments for the feast. The great day came, and the palace was soon filled with guests. Oh, it was a gay and happy time, and many of the guests wore fine robes which they had prepared just for this feast. The king arrived to greet all his guests. As he looked around, he saw one man who was not dressed in a wedding robe. He turned to the guards and said, "This man has come here without preparing for the feast. He's wearing the wrong robes. Take him away." The man had been discourteous. He had come to the feast, but he had not made sincere preparations. He had insulted the king and the others and could offer no excuse. So the king said, "You must go." Afterward, the wedding feast continued. Oh, it was a wonderful celebration, because all the remaining guests had made the preparations the king had expected to make this a joyous occasion. Remember poor old Corky? He was like the man who'd gone to the wedding feast in the wrong robes. Corky, like the man, was unfair, and both were sent away, sad and unhappy. The parable Jesus told about the king's wedding feast can be found in the Bible, in the 22nd chapter of Matthew, beginning with the first verse. When you've read it, you will be reminded again of all the mistakes made by Corky the Crow.